Are there absolute musts that you would say to have that healthy feeling and looking skin?
Yes, if you could do with doing some acid, a gentle acid. You don't have to go crazy. You don't need some super strong glycolic that's going to make your face fall off. SPFs are beautiful, and you can use it as a moisturizer, and then you've got your moisturizer and SPF in one, and you're done. Alcohol is a killer for your skin, your health, your mood, especially if you are perimenopausal. Ultimately, your skin is going to come down to your genetics, the stuff you're doing to abuse it. Do you not really use skincare for your skin type? Are you someone who thinks it's all a load of bollocks, but actually if you look at your face, you've got a face like a leather handbag? In the celeb world, a lot of people looked a lot fresher after COVID. People who looked really relaxed after COVID was just like, I was like, can someone please pick up my neck? Like big fat Greek wedding. Now smile, it's good.
We've been formally started, Caroline.
Hi.
You're right.
Hi, you all right?
I'm so excited to do this because I love what you do. And I love, do you know what I love? I mean, I love lots about you. But I love what you do on social media because you are one of the very few people who is just being you.
Yeah. Good or bad, I'd like to apologise now in advance if you haven't witnessed it before.
You're just being you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real skill because there's a weirdness when you're being certainly filmed for Instagram or TikTok, whatever, that you're really aware that people are going to watch it and how people are going to digest it. And you're just you.
I think because I've been doing it so long, I was an early starter on Instagram and I was on Twitter before when it used to be good.
Yeah.
And I think because I've been doing it such a long time and I'm a bit older, I think if I was in my 20s, I'd be way more self-conscious. I mean, my followers have seen me in some states, like waking up in a hotel in California and kicking off because only kicking off in a way that you do your English and you just complain about it, don't actually do anything about it because I didn't have any tea.
Just moan.
And my hair's decrepit and I look like I'm Shrek. It's just, they've seen me in pretty much every situation. Except naked. No one needs that.
Not for me either. I don't want to be doing that from my own channels.
We don't want to put people off their dinner.
But it's really lovely. And it's so impressive because you've built this gorgeous space, which is a place of education and the truth and really valid information that we need to hear. And you've done it so brilliantly and authentically because it's such an overwhelming topic, skin.
Yeah.
It's such an overwhelming topic, and it feels like you've just distilled everything down to one place. But one thing you're not comfortable with is the term influencer.
No.
That needs to be put in the bin.
Yeah, I didn't like it from the beginning because I could see where it was going to go. As soon as people were, because there was a group of us, we were bloggers.
Yeah.
We were bloggers, and then there were a few of us who were in that world who are still around, like Sam and Nick Chapman, who were experts in their field who happened to have a blog or a YouTube channel or something. And then when the term influencer came around, and it was used to just put everyone in one pool, I was like, well, I hope that my sole reason for being on social media isn't to encourage people to buy something. If anything, I tell people not to buy things. I even say it on our packaging. You don't need this if, which no one else does. I love that. You need this if, you've got extra. You don't need this if. And so I just saw that it was as soon as you are lumped in with everyone else without anything to distinguish you from everyone else, and as soon as you are, which I do, I do sponsored posts, not as many as you could, obviously, but I understand that I have influence. I do get that, but to me, influencer went negative so quickly, and I could see it coming because, like I say, I'm 55. You're like, I don't know if that's me. I don't stand in front of no shade. It's just not me.
No.
I don't stand in front of the mirror and go, it was in the early days, it was things like, oh, guys, I've just moved house. What sofa do you think would go here? Because you're obviously begging for a sofa, And I would just be like, buy a sofa, bird.
Buy a bloody sofa.
So I always just went like that. But a lot of my friends are influencers. So for me, it was like because as well, there are certain aspects where people will use that to take away from your expertise.
Well, you are an expert, and that's something that needs to be at the forefront of this conversation, is that your history is long and diverse.
Thanks for that.
Well, I'm not talking about age, babes.
So long, you're so old.
Likewise with me.
Yes.
A career that has spanned decades.
Yes.
And I think it's really cool to look into all the stages of that. So your mum and grandmother were both beauty veterans. They worked in the industry.
They were both in the industry, yeah.
And then you started out on a counter at Harvey Nicks. That was the first job?
Yeah, and I'd never discussed going into beauty with my mum or my nan ever.
Really?
No.
Why not?
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to have 2 kids before I was 25. I mean, now it just seems crazy. But I wanted to have 2 kids before I was 25. I met Jim when I was 19. We did that. And I went, right, now I need to have a career. And there's type A and then there's me. That's the joke. It's like, okay, now I'm going to do this and now I'm going to do this. And so then I wanted to have 2 more kids. And then I had 3, and then I wanted a boy. I was like, well, we're going to have a 4th kid because we've had a 3rd. We need one for each hand. And he was just like, I think you need to calm down. I was like, no, we're going to have another kid. It's going to be a boy, and I'm going to call him Max. And he was like, but what if that's not in my plan? I'm like, well, then we won't have sex.
Yeah, exactly, because that's my plan. So
within a month I was pregnant, and Max is now 20.
Love. Love.
I know a lot of that is down to good luck and good fortune. I don't say it, sort of off the cuff. But I just wanted to do a job that meant I could do the school run and be at home. And so I went for a weekend job, and I was a beauty shopper. So I phoned at the time my girlfriend Lorraine. She used to be my Clarins rep. I used to follow her around London when she was on the Clarins counter, and she'd moved to Aveda. And I just phoned her and I said, is there any sort of part-time weekend jobs going in Harvey Nicks? Because I've done retail before and I'm obsessed with beauty. And she said, actually, we've got a weekend job going here. It used to be Saturday, Sunday Girl. That's what you were called.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. And I went for the job, got the job, and on day 1 I fell in love, and that was it. I was like, I'm never going to do anything else again, ever. I want to work in beauty.
And there's something really cool about that specific job, that you are directly communicating with people. You're probably hearing a lot of their life story, more so than you would expect, because you're having these really intimate conversations with people to find out what they want, what they need. And it's not just about skin, and I'm imagining you'll agree, it's something about confidence and empowerment and feeling good in your own skin. What would you say you took away from that particular job?
That kick-started everything, because there is, I've said this before when I've spoken to friends, if you've been in the service industry, I think everyone should have to be in the service industry before they're allowed into the real world, because it teaches you everything, whether it's retail, hospitality, some kind of service, because the interaction you have with the general public, you can't match that if you've gone straight into an office environment or. So I loved that it wasn't when people, it really kicked in for me sort of on day 2, which sounds like, it took you 6 hours. On day 2, the other person that was supposed to be working with me, because on Sundays used to be the quiet day of the week. Wasn't the busiest day of the week like it is now. And she phoned in sick, so I was on my own on the counter, and I took as much money as the day before when there was like 4 or 5 of us in. But I didn't feel like I was selling. I was just talking to people. And from day 1, I was like, oh, don't use that. You don't need that. And that's kind of been my way. I mean, I would be in Space NK as a manager, and I would get told off for not selling enough Eve Lom, because Space NK used to own Eve Lom. And I'd be like, I don't like it. I sell this instead, and they couldn't get their head around it. And so I just always enjoyed it when people would say, oh, my skin feels really good. It wasn't, I look fantastic, my husband's noticed. It was just, I feel so much better. And that was always the goal. It wasn't, trying to fit into a trend or, follow what everyone else is doing. It was just, how can you make your skin feel the way you want it to feel? And how do we do that? With not with spending a fortune, just trying to keep it streamlined into what you actually need.
And I think, like you've just said, talking to people, actually having that direct communication with people that are feeling not great in their own skin and want the help is the best time to learn and to grow your skill set. Then you went to beauty school after that.
Yeah, I transferred to central London, took a demotion, went to assistant manager at Harvey Nichols Space NK, so that I could go to night school to do a beauty therapy. Did that through 2 pregnancies, 300 hours of basic training. Because that's me. I don't go, I'll just get the piece of paper and then I'm done. I have to go, no, I want the best school, the hardest course, idiot, while raising 2 children, then 3 children, and then I'm pregnant with a 4th. And so when I finally graduated, because we all knew I was going to graduate and do well, because I just loved doing it. Yeah. It was just when they phoned me, they went, you've passed with credits or whatever it is. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I was huge. I was just about to have Max. So it was the summer. And when I did my exam, I was like 8 months pregnant. And it was just trying to wax, and I can't even lean over the bed. And it was very entertaining. But I just thought, okay, another hour and then you're done and you've got the paper finally, And if I hadn't have done that, I don't think I'd have the career I'd have, because it would just be opinion. It wouldn't be actually, this is what we've trained in. Because when you do sort of a heavy duty course, like a SIBTAC course or a Sedesco course, City and Guilds, you get much more about anatomy and physiology and biology, and it's not just, oh, this is how you do a massage. You start with the basics. You start from inside the skull and you work your way out. So, and I was obsessed with it from the get-go.
And then you started consulting, which again is something that you have to have qualifications, you have to have knowledge rather than just opinion.
Yeah, again. I was working for people, and I knew I didn't want to do big corporate. It's not me, as people who follow me will be able to tell. I just would be a square peg in a round hole. And so I just coincidentally thought, well, if I consulted and had 2 clients, I would earn more than I would as an employee anyway. And then at the same time, during like a 6-week period, the crash happened in America, the stock crash, like 2008, 2009. And so Space NK were like, you know us inside out. We've got so many American brands that can't afford to hire anyone here full time. Would you help a couple of them out? And that was it. I was off. Done. I would just get clients, get a retainer, do all the trainings. I mean, I still get people messaging me now going, "Hi, Caroline, you won't remember me, but you trained me in Hampton Sun or David Kirsch or Anthony for Men 15 years ago, and you sparked my love for beauty and blah, blah, blah." And I just think, God, I don't even, I mean, I have to, if I look at the year, I remember what brand it was. That's how I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was Sunday Riley. No, that was Kate Somerville. No, that was Zellens. And so I think it was just fortuitous that I was in the right place at the right time. I mean, you know, I don't want people to have a stock market crash for me to do well, but it was.
It's not necessary.
It's quite
extreme. It's quite
worked
extreme.
out well. It's quite extreme.
A moment ago, you said something, and this is how my brain works. I go off on all these different tangents, but I want to pick up on the word trends, because that, I think, is part of the overwhelm that most people feel today when it comes to skincare.
Yeah.
There is so much information out there.
Yeah.
There's fake news and misinformation, and we're trying to navigate it all and work out what is best for us. And again, that's why you've created this sort of educational platform that we can use. I guess one of the problems is TikTok, especially when we look at the teen market. You know, I've got teenage stepchildren, and I've sort of seen that over the years, how, you know, and also my son who's about to turn 12, all of his friends that are girls in the class are heavily influenced by what's going on TikTok. And all of a sudden, wanting these certain brands that are insanely expensive and ploughing their faces with cream. I guess the most obvious question to ask would be, do teenagers need skincare?
Yes, but they don't need that kind of skincare.
No.
And some might need the absolute basics. If you're talking about a teenager that's going to wear makeup, then yes, you would give them skincare because they need to take it off. And if they're taking it off, they might need a moisturiser. And in an ideal world, they'd use SPF. But the trend for brightly coloured, really expensive, no, absolutely not. And it's funny because teenagers have always stolen our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I spend my time going, where is it? Thinking that Ava has still stolen something, even though she's 22. Half the time she has. But it used to be makeup. Now they're stealing and perfume. I used to steal my mum's fragrances.
Yeah, I used to steal my mum's Anay.
Yeah. Chanel number 5, I'd be like,
love it.
and then I'd spray it and go, oh, now I smell like my mum.
Yeah.
Which sounds terrible because it's hers, you know? And so they used to steal makeup and fragrance. But the reason skincare is a problem is because, one, they want it all for themselves. It's more expensive. Some brands marketed themselves directly to that consumer, which was a mistake because their sales are down this year. Like, you know, they're not an invested consumer. They're a trend-driven consumer. Why would you put all of your marketing spend there? It's not a customer that's going to stay loyal. And, of course, some of the skincare that they're using can do harm to their skin.
Yeah.
So, you absolutely do not need all of that skincare for your teenager.
No. And I guess another obvious question, but because I think most of us are completely confused, is there one set skincare routine for everybody? Is there a baseline skincare routine that we should all be doing? Because this is an honest place. I'm a very honest person. I don't know what mine is. Mine changes all the time. I've not got a fucking clue what I'm doing. I'm sort of, I'll use what products are lying around. I might see something online, give it a try. I'm not massively committed to any of it.
Yeah.
And also, I think, you know, I'm in my mid-40s and I'm...
Are you committed to your foundation, though?
I'll change and wear whatever.
Right.
I'm sort of...
It's interesting because by the time you get to your mid-40s, most people have committed to either. It's hardest to get people off foundation and mascara.
Well, I'm committed to wearing it.
Yeah, no, I just like a
yeah.
particular one.
No, not a particular one. I'll just sort of experiment. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel completely like it's the Wild West. I have
quite
no
common.
clue. Yeah.
And also I think the industry has to take responsibility for that too, because there is money to be made in marketing confusion.
Well,
because
quite.
people buy more.
Yeah.
You know, people buy more. And that's what I detest about the industry. And that's why I'm forever being the one going, actually, that's not true.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it winds up some aspects of the industry. That's not my problem, you know.
Not your problem.
If you're going to lie to people, I'm going to be the one going, actually, that's not true, you know.
So what are we meant to be doing?
At the bare minimum,
Broad question.
Wash your face and wear an SPF.
Yeah.
At
Okay,
the
so
bare
the
minimum.
SPF thing is another hot topic because there, again, was sort of misinformation thrown
Only because of
about
California.
recently in America saying, oh, it's bad for your skin, don't put it on. I mean, I've got sun damage on my face from not wearing it as a teenager, and I don't love that, and I wish I'd known better in the 90s, but...
80s for me.
None of us knew, and we were putting oil on and baking
Hawaiian
ourselves.
Tropic number
Hawaiian
2.
Tropic.
Lying on oil, lying on foil.
Smelling like a
foil
pina
and oil.
colada.
Foil and oil.
That was the way. We all did it.
I know.
And we're now suffering, but we know better now. But that's one that, again, I've heard you talk about and say, that's bollocks, wear SPF.
Yeah, just wear SPF. It's scientifically proven. I'm not big on fear-mongering, no matter what side of the industry it comes from. If it comes from a marketing team saying you have to wear SPF or you're going to die, relax. If it's coming from California saying you can't wear SPF or you will die, I'm like, can we everyone just chill out?
Yeah.
SPF is safe. Please use it. Use it absolutely. If you've got a family history of skin cancer, you should use it every day. If you're worried about signs of aging, you should use it if you can read a book without artificial light.
Yeah.
So if you're outside in the middle of winter and it's quite dark at 4 p.m, you don't need SPF. Of course you don't. People say, do I need SPF because I go to a shift in a hospital all night? And I'm like, so you're driving in the dark and coming home in the dark and you're in... I'm like, no. If you're in a hospital, you're going to be dehydrated. Much more important for you is oil and water. And then they're like, oh. So use SPF. There is no alternative that works in terms of, beef tallow, cook your potatoes in that. I can't.
Is that a thing?
It's a new thing on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah. Like, if you want to smell like a Sunday roast, knock yourself out. But I would rather not have signs of aging, not have skin cancer, and not smell like a chicken.
What are your thoughts on signs of aging? Because this is, again, a topic I'm deeply invested in.
When I say signs of aging, I mean like the severe signs you would get if you never used SPF and you lived in the sun.
Right.
And you can see that kind of skin from miles away. I embrace getting older. I'm 55. There's no pretending I'm 25, I think it depends on what makes you happy. I think we can be way too judgmental on whether people want to do things to their skin and their face and whether they don't. If someone is perfectly happy aging the way we all age, they're not interested in any kind of injectable, they use the basic skincare just so their skin feels comfortable, have at it. If someone else wants to do every injectable and have their lips blown up, that's entirely their choice. I always think as a woman, I can't be pro-choice for a woman.
I agree.
But then go, but you shouldn't do this. I'm not big on the word shouldn't. What you shouldn't do is sell misinformation. That's kind of where I'm...
I agree. I guess it's such a complicated conversation because I'm absolutely on the same page as you. I just think, knock yourself out. Whatever makes you feel confident and good in your own skin, do it. I guess there is this sort of separate area, which is the pressure that has always been placed upon women way, way more than men. And I know men's skincare has probably evolved and there is maybe slightly more pressure in that area. But for as long as we can look back, there's this obsession about female beauty, female aging.
And not aging.
And this sort of female being as childlike as humanly possible in every physical way. And that pressure does lead to hugely low self-esteem, lack of confidence, people feeling there's something wrong with them for simply aging. Is that pressure, can we be as cynical to say that pressure comes from the Industrial Revolution? People wanting to make money out of women?
I don't know how far back it goes, but I know it didn't start with social media.
No,
I think it's easy to blame social media. I think as far back as I can remember, it's the Hollywood starlets.
Yeah.
It's no one I knew looked like Rita Hayworth, Ava Gardner, Marilyn Monroe. That was the image.
There was 4 of them in the world.
Then it was magazines.
Yeah.
And then magazines became, general media, Page 3, all of that nonsense. Then it became blogs, social media, and then it became, blogs have now been taken over by social media in general. And so it's the pressure that's always been there. I think, if anything, we've kind of disregarded that it has put more pressure on young boys because if you look at TikTok or Insta, it's full of men at the gym. Full of men at the gym showing their pecs. And I just think it's not great for their psychological well-being either. So I don't know where it started, but it's always been there. It's just a bit more amplified now. I like to use social media for in that calling out things that are, and I'm the first, I sort of said on a pod recently in Ireland that it's a miracle I've still got a career, really, because when the blog was at its peak and I was getting all the views and stuff, I was raging perimenopausal. I mean, I was delulu. And so I would rant and shout and kick off and then I'd have to be like, oh, that's my bad, I'm a dick, And now I'm actually
I love all that.
Well, now I'm a bit like, I don't care, use beef fat on your face. I don't get involved. I'm just like, knock yourself out. Enjoy melanoma.
Yeah, well, quite. And there's no point wasting energy fighting that fight.
No, I use my energy for all the good stuff now. And I'd rather just be like, I've got pigmentation and sun damage here. I'm going to get it lasered tomorrow and I'll show all that on camera and be like, this is what it might look like. It's going to go blacker and then drop off.
I've got a massive bit here and luckily I wear my hair down, but I hate it.
You can get it lasered off.
I couldn't give a shit about getting older, things dropping as they naturally do, lines, whatever.
Yeah.
But the sun damage, I hate.
It's usually pigmentation that people hate the most because that's what you see and you think that shouldn't be there. Because I think as we age slowly and the lines come on slowly, you get used to them. If you haven't seen someone for ages and they look much older or really well, you're like, oh, you look really well, or oh God, they didn't look good. In your head, hopefully you don't say that out loud.
No.
But we see ourselves every day, so we're used to aging. But when you get the pigmentation, you're like, well, that's new. Because you're used to kind of the fine lines coming up, and when you smile, you have laughter lines. I don't want all that to disappear. If I can't be like, I can't tell the kids off, you know. So I don't want to be like a surprise tambourine, you know, with the, it's not attractive.
That's the face.
Yeah. And you can do that one too. It's all very attractive.
That's so
and
good.
certain people will have come to mind now with that picture, but I'm not going to say a word. And that's up to you. If you want to do that, knock yourself out.
Yeah, no, completely.
But I like, do whatever you want to do. On my very first YouTube video, I was a guest of Sam and Nick Chapman. And I said, and it just came out of my mouth, I said, I think I have no problem with looking my age. I think aging is a privilege that not everyone gets. And that stuck. And I said it and I thought, that sounded, well done, Hirons. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Because it just came out. And I still stick to it. You know, I'm lucky to be here. I'm 55. I've got 4 kids, 2 grandkids, husband. Why would I complain about having whatever it is, lines? I mean, yeah, if you can do something about it and you want to, do. But don't stress.
No. Because I think people become, it's the obsession. But I think when you don't like something about yourself and you become completely laser point focused on that thing, it can ruin your day. It can ruin a week.
It can ruin your life. If you look in the mirror, let's say if you look in the mirror and for years, the one thing you've always hated is your nose. And all you see when you look in the mirror is, I hate my nose. And you can get a nose job. Then do it. Because I know people have had nose jobs, people have had their boobs reduced, whatever. It's changed their life. They feel psychologically and fundamentally, they feel better about themselves. Knock yourselves out. I think obviously there are people with body dysmorphia, and that's a whole different thing. But it's important to remember that's a very small percentage. Most average, normal people embrace what they do. They want their skin to look good. They want their makeup to look good. But I think most of us just want people to go, oh, you look well. Not, I like your makeup, or, you know, it's usually, I just want people to go, you look well.
Yeah.
You know, or I saw Fearne the other day, she looks great. Like, that's all you need. You don't need, well, I saw Fearne and her lines are gone and she looks incredible. Like, it's just, who's looking at you in that much detail, you know?
No one is, because we're
no one except for you in the mirror.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly. And I guess there's got to be room for learning to love yourself as you are. Like, I again think if you want to have plastic surgery, fillers, whatever, and it makes you feel better, great. But I do think there's sort of this other grey area where, like, I didn't used to particularly like my nose because it's quite characterful. But now I love my nose. It's my dad's nose. It's literally Mick Cotton's nose has been plonked on my face. And I love my dad dearly. And I love my nose. And I've grown I've got to that place through age and experience where I'm pretty happy in my skin. I don't obsess about my nose like I used to. I don't think about my fucking nose ever. Yeah. And I think we've got to give ourselves the time and space to find that self-compassion and that inner love rather than always expecting that the outside bit's going to change the inside bit.
Yeah, exactly. And some of that unfortunately comes with age. You know, if you were surrounded by different people and you had the opportunity and you were 18, 19 and someone was constantly saying to you, well, you could have a nose job, maybe you would have done it.
Yeah.
And that would have been a shame.
It would have been awful.
You know, you wouldn't have had mixed nose.
I love this hooter. Absolutely.
Your hooter is lovely.
It's a characterful, it's a big old hooter. So I want to go back to, again, getting some really clear facts for my lovely listeners, because we've got majority of listeners are females, probably around my age, who'll be noticing signs of aging or with hormone changes, noticing changes within their skin. Are there, I don't know, 3 or 5 absolute musts, absolute tips that you would say to really commit to have that healthy feeling and looking skin? Yes.
So you're saying what, early 40s?
I reckon.
Late 30s,
we've got
40s.
a lovely pocket of people from all ages, but there will be a lot of women my age.
Yeah, my demographic is similar. Yeah. So if you're heading towards the stage of perimenopause, which you will be at that age.
I'm in it.
Yeah, then your estrogen will be depleting. That's just normal. That happens because not everyone has a kid. But if you have ovaries and you've had a menstrual cycle, everyone will go through menopause. Yeah. You know? So it might be the first time you've ever had a hormonal shift in your body if you haven't had kids. That's a big change for women, you know? But what will happen is your skin will slow down. So it won't look as fresh. You might find you wake up and you look a bit more tired than you used to do. You might find you look a bit more sallow. So we go a bit yellower as we get older, which is where you get what I call blush blindness. So if you see older women with a load of blush on, and I am totally guilty, I do it.
I'm thinking of my late nans.
Yes. Oh, like,
bless
because
them.
You look in the mirror and you start to look all this colour.
Yeah.
You just wake up and you look all this colour. And so the main thing is just like, just giving me a bit of blush. Because, you know, most women who are over a certain age, if you give them one blush or a lip, they can make that thing work on their whole face.
Yeah.
Blush, lip, eyelid, done. Let's go.
Gorgeous.
You need to put the colour back in. So And that's cosmetic, that's makeup. In terms of your actual skin texture, you could do with doing some acid, a gentle acid. You don't have to go crazy. You don't need some super strong glycolic that's going to make your face fall off, just to help you resurface. Because when it slows down, it's a bit like your car engine has just got needs a bit of oil and a bit of petrol. It's just taking a slower route.
Yeah.
The skin is slower to heal. So if you kind of get a spot, or you pick a spot, because you'll still get them, especially if you're perimenopausal, you might then find that you get pigmentation, which is exactly what happened to me here. And if you pick it, it doesn't just immediately, if you pick a spot and you're a teenager, it's gone the next day and you're just like, oh, it was a bit red. When you're older, your skin takes longer to heal. And so it's things that help support it along the way. And so it'd be acids, retinoids, vitamin C. You can kind of use that as a holy trinity and go from there. As long as you've got a cleanser to wash your face, moisturizer, and if you want to be completely bare minimum, and I don't call it lazy because some people just don't want to bother. They just want the bare minimum. You can buy an SPF that has a moisturizer, sort of almost a moisturizer with an SPF built in, but I would be more inclined to buy an SPF that is moisturizing.
Oh, right.
Like a higher SPF, because most in the old days, like in my Space and K days of 20 years ago that we were talking about earlier, you would buy an SPF, you would buy a moisturizer that had SPF 15. Pointless. Just false economy, false sense of security, because you're not going to use it everywhere on your face. You're not going to put it on tops of your ears if you've got a ponytail on in the middle of summer. 15 is not high enough. So buy an SPF 50 that's moisturising, because the technology we have in the EU, which we are still a part of as far as cosmetics go, is far beyond where we were 20 years ago and far beyond the USA. So SPFs are beautiful, and you can use it as a moisturiser, and then you've got your moisturiser and SPF in one, and you're done. If you want to treat things, because remember, you're treating the texture of the skin. If you want to change the structure of your skin, that is where you go and see someone who can do an injectable. That's the structure of your skin. So if you think about the scaffolding outside the building, that will start to dismantle as we get older. And it just does. The jokes about everything heading south. If you've breastfed 4 kids and you take your bra off, you're very aware of that.
Babes, I'm there. 2 of them, but
exactly.
Still there. Yeah.
Exactly. It only takes one, let's be honest.
It takes one.
Just takes one, and you're like, well, where did they go? Great.
Rub
them in.
Yeah.
There's none of this one. You see women putting a bra on in a movie and they put it on front to back. I'm like, who are you?
Fuck that.
Who does that?
No, we're scooping them off the ground.
You turn it round, you put it, and you scoop them up.
Scooping
No,
them in.
I can't relate.
No, same.
So if you're at that point, then you might find you want some structure in your skin too. And if you want structure in your skin, you need to go and see someone for an injectable. And we don't have to be afraid of it. Botox and filler are not a big deal in the world of injectables. And I'm not talking facelifts and threads and anything that's super invasive. I mean, a Botox needle is like this big and it's tiny. You don't feel it.
I've never had any of it. I'm sort of scared about the whole thing. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not saying you need it.
Slope of.
I don't think it's a slippery slope for most people. I really don't. I think it's the worry of, will this lead to something? If you know yourself, that's not going to lead to something. Are you obsessive about your hair? Are you obsessive about your diet? Are you obsessive about the gym? And if you're not, if you're generally just, I'll do my best and then I'm going to chill and watch telly, you're going to be the same with your skin. Not too shabby. That's what I aim for.
Yeah.
Not too shabby higher end, you've looked worse. That's what I go for. If someone says, you look really well, I'm like, wow, what did I do today? Wow.
I'm creating that tomorrow.
Jesus, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I could go and get threads where they kind of stitch here and it pulls it all back. That just terrifies me. I don't want big needles. I would never have a facelift. People say never. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I would never have a facelift. No. That's just me. If you want to, I see people have had brilliant facelifts. I don't know if you noticed, because in the celeb world, a lot of people looked a lot fresher after COVID.
Oh, didn't they just?
Hollywood was busy.
At home. Hollywood was
so busy because you could still have medical. You could travel for medical. Yeah. So there were private planes going to Hollywood, and there were a lot of facelifts going on.
Yeah.
People who looked really relaxed after COVID was just like
not many of us, but those ones.
Yeah.
Super relaxed.
Yeah, super relaxed. I was like, can someone please pick up my neck like big fat Greek wedding? Can we just do a bit of that, please? Now smile, it's good. I'll have a bit of that, please. Thank you. So if you want to change the structure of your skin, like you'll tend to be, this is the jowly bit. So what happens is the aging triangle is like this. So your kids, especially your daughter and my daughter, her smile is like this. When they smile, it's all lifted. The cheeks come out.
Yeah, heaven.
As you get older, it droops a bit. So when you smile, you're more notice that the triangle is upside down. That's the aging triangle. And that is just Mother Nature.
Yeah.
You can prolong, you can sort of move that over, and it doesn't have to happen as quickly. That is either a bit of Botox or a bit of filler and Botox, whatever you want to do. And it's not the permanent filler of the old days where people would have duck lips and, it's dissolvable and There's no need to panic. I sound like I'm endorsing it. I'm just trying to give the information.
Yeah, of course.
If you are worried about the texture of your skin or the colour of your skin, that you can do with skincare.
Yeah.
And that you don't need to go and see a really expensive doctor for. That you can do with over the counter. You can go online, you can go into a store, and that is where you can change sort of the texture would be acids and retinoids, and then the glow would be vitamin C's, acids, vitamin C's, that kind of thing, and oils, like facial oils on a woman over 40. I can take someone from looking like they've just been dug up to have a glow within 5 minutes. It's easy.
With oil?
Yeah, quick cleanse, quick acid, oil, moisturiser. Look in the mirror, they're like,
moisturiser on top of oil?
Yeah.
Really? I've never done that.
Yeah, no one does that, and it's a sandwich. It's perfect.
Really?
It's like a sandwich.
Are you wearing that in the day? Or is
Yeah,
that before bed?
if you're going to wear oil in the day, you have to put it under your moisturiser because it can interfere with your makeup and your SPF.
Right.
So SPF is like, yeah, it can interfere with your SPF, but God forbid it interferes with foundation.
No, Christ no. That needs to be perfect.
I'm only talking like with our oil, it's one pump. It's a tiny amount in your hands. And then don't forget, it's the same with makeup application. The first place you put your hands on your skin is where you're going to deposit the most product. So with oil, you want it to go cheek. Don't do this. You're already oily here, here, and here. T-zone for a reason. You want it cheeks, especially if you're a certain age. If you can highlight and lift this area of your face as a woman, I'm going to say over 40.
Yeah.
Just to be safe, over 40. And it does not matter. I see women all the time. There's people I know, I nearly said their name then, they'll be like, what are you doing? There are people I know.
Outing them.
Yeah, outing them who say, well, I've still got all my periods. I'm like, but you're in your 50s. I'm telling you, your estrogen, it doesn't matter. Go and get yourself sorted. Get HRT. Life-changing. That putting that estrogen back in your body makes everything go, oh, we're a bit bouncy again. Oh, we don't look dead.
Well, I guess this is also the other side of the conversation is there's the topical element, which we're talking about here, which is what we can actually do and apply to our skin to give ourselves a better chance of looking healthy and glowy. But that's the topical element. But what about the inside-out job? How much do stress and diet impact our skin?
The big ones are smoking, alcohol. Alcohol is a killer for your skin, your health, your mood, especially if you are perimenopausal.
Yeah, I don't even last night.
I don't even mess about. I'm like, I can't. If I'm going to have it, I need to write off my sleep and the next day, and it's not worth it.
No.
And you can see it on your face. You look like, you could be on holiday for a week, go on a bender the last night of your holiday and wake up looking like shit.
Yeah.
It's not worth it for me. So, and also since my mum died, if I drink alcohol, it's a depressive for me.
Yeah, I think you have to know yourself
I'm like,
and what drinks
no.
work and what
I always used to be the
don't.
happy drunk who'd like, like, woo, have too many drinks, and then I fall over and I'm loving everyone and I'm happy, and then I throw up and I go home like everyone else. I haven't done that in a long time. I can't do that.
No. You have to know yourself.
Alcohol's not great. Smoking is terrible. Like, why would you? And vaping is just as bad.
Yep.
Don't kid yourselves.
No.
If your kid is vaping, pull it out of their hand.
Yep.
This is not the time to do gentle parenting and use your indoor voices. Get that vape out of their hand.
Yeah.
Vaping, smoking, alcohol. And then diet-wise, honestly, if you're eating tons and tons and tons of sugar, you're going to feel like crap.
Yeah.
Ultimately, your skin is going to come down to your genetics, the stuff you're doing to abuse it, like are you taking care of it? And by that, I don't mean a 57-step routine. I just mean, do you sleep in your makeup regularly? Do you not really use skincare for your skin type? Are you someone who thinks it's all a load of bollocks, but actually if you look at your face, you've got a face like a leather handbag? So when people say it to me, I have no judgment. I've got a really good sales face. I'm just like, I'm so glad that you feel that way about your skin. It's good that you're self-confident because your face looks like a crocodile. But I don't say that. No, in the old days in Liverpool, my mum's friend on the counter in Liverpool said, I don't know who she thinks she is. The lines are queuing up on her neck to get on her face. Like this.
Crikey.
And I'm like, I can't say that in 2024.
You can't.
But it's always in my head. I always have the voice in my head laughing like, look, self-confidence is fantastic. You do you.
Yeah, you do you. You do you. What are the absolute no-nos? Because, again, I think there's misinformation in terms of what we should and shouldn't be doing. So we're saying wearing makeup at night time is not a great idea.
Yeah, don't sleep in your makeup. Wash your face.
Wash your face.
If you're going to brush your teeth, wash your face. If you're not going to brush your teeth, what's wrong with you?
And then I heard you say something the other day about don't clean your face in the shower because the water's too hot.
I never clean my face in the shower. My face doesn't go under the shower.
So why do we not do that?
Because most of us have the water too hot for our face. And if the water is too hot, and because your body can take it, but your face can't, you'll get broken capillaries, you'll get the red flush. If you come out of the shower and your cheeks are red and flush, you need to turn the heat down. That's
I
not
love
the
a
goal.
hot shower. Okay, what a bummer.
Don't
Right,
put your
I'm
face in it.
changing that. Okay.
I said in the early days, and I still say, you have to stand as if the shower has greatly offended you. Like a movie and you wash your hair from behind, like an old Timotei ad.
Oh, okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, just do it from behind.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. That's all
Only
new to
because
me.
if you have a tepid shower, knock yourself out.
I do not. I have a boiling,
Most people have
shower.
a hot shower, and it's too hot for your face.
It's too hot. I really want to also quiz you about.
I'm feeling the pressure. I'm sweating.
No, there's no pressure. It's all questions about you, and you know the answers to
Okay,
all
I'm
of
ready.
them. But it's so impressive how, when we go back to what we've just talked about, starting on the counter at Harvey Nicks to where you are now, and having your own brand and this beautiful business that is thriving and growing at such a rate. Mm-hmm. How do you find that? There aren't enough female founders. We know that for a start. They're still hugely uninvested in.
Yep.
And there is a lot of pressure for women to almost sort of, I don't believe that we should, but prove ourselves that we can run businesses. I'm trying to do exactly the same with Happy Place. But if we're honest, the pressure is immense because I'm imagining, like me, you're pretty ambitious. I'm very open about that. I'm really ambitious. I've got lots of things I'd like to do, lots of goals. I want to, grow and expand and challenge myself in really healthy ways. But I don't want to feel depleted and stressed out and not be able to be present in my family home, have time with my friends, have fun. There is still that toxic sort of trope that women can have it all, which I don't believe.
No one can have it all. I always say women have it all to do.
Yeah.
We have it all to do. And we take on more and more. And it's only recently I've been like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. Turning 50 is big. And turning 55 is mega. Like, I've never been happier in my own skin.
I literally can't wait.
I know. I've never been happier in my own skin. The Helen Mirren thing of when she turned 70 and people said, do you have any regrets? She went, yes, I wish I'd told many more people to fuck off. I took that to heart and I'm like, got it. And I've done that ever since. Done.
So that's about setting really clear boundaries, saying what you're not going to do, not people pleasing anymore.
Yeah, and then also not rescuing people like my husband, my kids and mum. No, I can't. You can do it. No, you're 30. You do it. No, you're 20. You do it. No, Mum, do you know where this is? Yes, I do. And you also know where it is because I've told you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, no, because they're never going to learn. My husband, love, do you know where? Yes, I do. And so do you.
Yeah. Bye.
Because when you're younger, you're like, I'll just do it. It's quicker. I don't do that anymore. It might be quicker for them.
And does that cross over into how you run your business?
Yes.
Are you very clear with how it's running and who's doing what?
Yeah. No, we've got a full team. So, there's 45 of us. And it's mega. It's a big operation. But I've got Al, who's my MD. She's like my right hand, my left hand. And we're both very, nope, not doing that. It's very easy to say no. The older you get, the easier it is to say no. I remember I went to see Abba Voyage again this year, and Benny and Bjorn were there, and I watched a TV interview just after, and they said, it's a shame the girls aren't here. And they said, when you are 76, it's very easy to say no to everything. And I was like, I get it.
Of course, just send the hologram
They
in
don't
base.
Agneta doesn't want to be famous, and Anna Fried doesn't like to travel. Why would you? You're ABBA, you don't need to.
You don't need
We're
to.
going to go anyway, love.
Yes, correct. We need ABBA energy. That's what we need.
We're coming anyway, whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
You stay in Stockholm and relax, babes. You've earned it.
Too right.
And so, we say no. But when I say yes to things, it has to be with the intention of what am I getting out of it? What are they getting out of it? Is my position being respected? Am I being exploited? Is anyone else being exploited? No, we're good. It's kind of, everything becomes much simpler as you get older, I think. I wouldn't be 25 again if you paid me.
No, same. What about the pressure you put yourself under?
No, that's a different story.
Yeah, you want to grow the business and you want it to be...
Do you know, it's not even now that I want to grow the business. Now I feel like I've got 45 other people and other mouths to feed, and so I have to grow the business. So now I've taken on the responsibility of my employees are like family, and I never do anything that could put their positions in jeopardy.
Which is a lot of pressure on your
I'm
shoulders.
tall, I've got big shoulders, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather do that than work in corporate any day.
What about the other side of it? Relaxing, having balance. Are you good at that?
I think if you want balance, you shouldn't have your own business. Personally, especially if you're a woman and you've got kids and a husband and you've got your own business, your life is not going to be balanced. The more you accept it, the easier it's going to be for you. Because all you're going to do is give yourself stress and worry and anxiety. I mean, I never heard the A word until the last 5, 6, 7 years. Anxiety. I was just like, what's everyone stressed about? Like, chill, I just don't. I'm a Gen X. And people joke, and there's memes on TikTok all the time, but they're true. Our mums didn't know where we were. We didn't have a phone. It was be in when it comes dark.
Yeah.
And if it went dark and you weren't home, woe betide you if someone else's mum had to call you.
Yeah.
Your mum's looking for you. Oh, shit.
Yeah. 80s parenting was so good.
80s parenting. Was it parenting?
No, just a bit of survival.
You know, there's that thing where it's like, did you really have to drink out the hose? Why don't you use the tap? Because we weren't allowed in the house. That's true. You'd go home and be like, what are you doing in? Get out.
Get out.
Like, it's
Go
just
do something with your time.
So like, we didn't really, I think the modern world has put a lot of more pressure on young people that I don't think needs to be there. And I think that causes a lot of anxiety that we just didn't have because no one would have given a shit if we did have it anyway.
No, I agree. But I think it's also so refreshing to say, if you want to run your own business and you want it to be really fucking successful,
You're going to be tired.
You're going to be tired. You're not going to, I mean, I'm living and breathing it. And I also weirdly don't have a problem with it. I don't actually like relaxing.
No.
I don't,
Going on a spa trip is my idea of hell.
Boring.
So boring. We went away to Italy and I said to Jim, this is the last time I'm doing this. Yeah. I can't do it. He's sitting by the pool. He's like a dolphin. He's loving it. He's in the pool. He's chatting. He's like a dolphin. He's in and out the water. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you've never had this much energy at home. I'm like, all right, pipe down. So he's on the bed next to me. Oh, another beer, senior. And they're all talking to him because they're sexist pigs. You know, it's just like the Italians, in Sicily especially, they talk to the man. If I went to the pool earlier, they wouldn't even feed me unless Jim turned up. And I'd have to be there like, hello, I'm paying the bill. It's booked in my name, but you talk to him.
Yeah.
Whole thing. So I'm raging. I'm like, I'm not coming here again. I'm too hot. I don't want a suntan. I'm not 18 anymore. You're getting on my nerves because you've got loads of energy. And when we get home, you sit your ass on the sofa. Like, it was a whole thing. And he was like, but it's beautiful. Look where you're on. I can see it's beautiful, but I'm bored. So on day one, we arrive on like the Saturday. On the Monday morning, I'm texting the office. He's like, you're working on it? I'm like, yeah. I'm relaxing, I'm happy, leave me alone. He's like, oh, whatever.
But if it makes you happy, I'm a worker bee. I love brainstorming in my free time. I'll create a project out of thin air if I feel like I'm not doing enough. That's just how I am. And I think it's really difficult when that messaging is sort of shoved down our throat that we've got to find this balance and we've got to have time out.
I think that's the pressure.
I agree.
Other people telling me I need to relax stresses me out.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Fuck off. Mind your own business. I'm fine. Do I look stressed? That's because I am, but I quite thrive off it. I've got ADHD.
Fine.
This is my natural state.
Exactly.
When I've had caffeine is when you need to worry.
You do you.
Like, if you need to do a fucking sound bath and yoga, you do you. I did yoga years ago, and it was really good for my back. I wish I could get back into it at the moment. I still do it, and Raki's going to be watching this because I did a yoga retreat last year. I was bored out of my mind, and I love her dearly, and she knows. She's like, you're going to come back? I'm like, no, and it was also vegan. I wanted to kill myself. It was horrendous.
I mean, I do love a bit of yoga.
You'd have loved
I've
it.
never done a retreat. And do you know why? There's something in me that is absolutely terrified of the thought of having 3 days where I'm not under that pressure, I'm not working, and I'm
This
just
was 5.
doing a yoga. Yeah, I don't know.
I did well.
I don't know if I
it was,
do it.
For what it was wonderful. And my mum hadn't long died. We'd only just had the funeral and I needed it. It was good. And I went with Ava, and Ava does headstands and all this shit, the split, all of it. I can't, now I'm like, it's really impressive that I gave birth to you. I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
You know, the split. She's like, Mum, you can, I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. But I'm bendy. I'll just leave it at bendy.
Yeah, bendy.
I don't need to do the split head. No. But if that is what relaxes you, go with God.
Yeah.
I relax by making a brew, putting SVU on, lying on the sofa. If I'm horizontal and my telly's on and I've got my phone in my hand, I'm as chilled as it gets.
Yeah.
I might still be working, but my brain is entertained by the TV. Yellowstone, I don't have the phone in my hand. I'm like this.
That's your jam.
I'm literally.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Maybe I should check the phone. So telly, I'm chill.
Yeah.
That's all I need. People are like, oh, you must read a good book. I'm like, no, I can't. I have a pile of books that I still buy, and I cannot sit and read. Ruth Crilly, my girlfriend, wrote How Not to Be a Supermodel. I read the bits I wanted to read that I was interested in because I was going to interview her for the pod. And I was like, she went, you haven't read it, have you? I went, no, I haven't read the whole thing. I'm not going to. No, I'm not. I went, I know all your stories. I read the ones I didn't know, and I read about how you met Rich because that cheered me up, and I know him, and it was very entertaining. She's just like, I don't get you. I'm like, because she just reads book after book.
Yeah,
after
I'm a bookie book. That for me is complete escapism. But you've got to find
some people go to
your
the movies.
Thing.
But I don't like to go to the pictures. Last time I think I went was James Bond or Barbie.
I hate the cinema.
I'll go to the cinema if it's like James Bond, Barbie. I'll probably go and see Wicked. But 3 hours without the kettle and a toilet break is a push.
No, I haven't been to the cinema. I couldn't tell you last. I could not tell you the last time.
But people go every day. So, I mean, one of my guys in work took a week off work to do the London Film Festival. He did 28 films in a week. And I'm like, are you okay?
No,
my arse would be numb.
I couldn't do it.
No.
I think you've got to find your own flow. Like my mum says to me constantly, oh, you're working too hard. And I know she's just being very lovely and lovely. And I'm not slagging old Lynn off. We love Lynn.
Yeah, my mum would say
but
that.
she's constantly like, oh, you're doing too much. It's like, I am so much happier.
Do
when
I look
I'm
like I'm unhappy?
engaged and busy
Yeah.
and thriving and doing things
And
that
it's
I love.
I think now at my age, it's the best thing for your kids to see you doing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's absolutely the best thing for your kids to see.
agree.
I have two worlds. I have my family,
Yeah.
which is always number one. Kids, grandkids, different level.
Yeah.
Babies, we're all obsessed.
Heaven.
Family, right? And then I have what I do with my life. It's not work, it's what I do. And that is the difference. I don't feel like I have a job. It's what I'm doing with my life. And I love it, and I would not change a thing. I'll take all the stress. I'll take the sleepless nights, which I don't really get many sleepless nights. If I think, oh, this is going to keep me up, I'll pop a pill. I don't care.
Yeah.
Get me to sleep so I can get up in the morning and function
Correct.
again. And that's it. So when people are like, what's your work-life balance? I'm like, oh, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
I went to Glastonbury for the first time last year. I fucking hated it. With every part of my body, I hated it. And I was in the VIP bit. I bought a VIP ticket. Thank you for my lovely friend who I won't name drop. We went, but my two boys, best time of their lives.
Yeah.
And I was like, there is a reason that you love it. Jim, in the middle of the Foo Fighters, Jim's standing here and he went, I'm going to the bar, I'll meet you back there. He couldn't give a shit. He's gone. We didn't go back to see anyone else. We went for one day, saw the Foos, and then fucked off home. Left the boys there.
Yeah.
Left them there.
I haven't been for a very long time. I find it too overwhelming now.
With my
Too
ADHD, now I
overstimulating.
get why. Now I get
too
why.
much.
But I tried it.
You've done it.
But
You've
my
ticked it off
mates
the list.
love it. They go every year. I'm like, how do you sleep in a camper van
No.
for a week?
Absolutely
How?
not.
What do you do for a shower? And they're like, oh no, you've got your own. You've got a shower. And I'm like, yeah, but you still have to share it with other people. No, and that's just my thing. But I love that I would never, and I love that they love it.
Yeah.
You do. I'm so happy for you,
You
that
do
you love
you,
it.
and I'll do me
Yeah.
over here.
I will be in Claridge's.
I'll be in
if I had a
Claridge's.
choice. In a
Probably
suite.
doing some emails, babes.
Maybe in the foyer. It's
Maybe in the foyer.
Nice little brew.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good.
I mean, I'm just joking. I don't actually live in Claridge's. Just putting that out there.
Would you say, actually, this is my last question, that would be your happy place?
I was literally going to say, I think Claridge's is one of my happy places. I feel like nothing bad can happen in Claridge's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I do. They like the minute you walk in, and it's not like I've spent a lot of time there, but a lot of press things happen there,
Yeah.
and you walk in, you're like, oh, this is nice. But no, my happy place is on the sofa in front of the TV, the odd kid running around, a baby. The big ones can get out the way and make a brew. Because the good thing is, your teenagers eventually become grown-ups, they give you grandchildren, and they can make tea.
Love.
Happy place, happy days. So my happy place is at home on the sofa.
It's a perfect one.
Or pottering around the kitchen. But generally, if I'm in my corner, I've got an L shape. If I'm in the corner, if my butt is sat down and I've got a brew in my hand, you're probably not going to make me happier.
Oh, it's the best. I love being on the sofa watching telly.
I know,
It's
just
so
watching
good.
TV. And then,
love it.
nice early night, nothing fancy planned. I can't be doing with nightclubs. And I just got back from a press trip to Vegas to see
Oh, I
Adele.
saw.
Did you see me in the nightclub? Because it's not for me, Fearne. I can't do it.
It's not.
I can't do it.
It's not.
And all the other much younger, who I could have given birth to all of them, all the other younger influencers are like, no, we're going to go bed or we're going to the casino. I'm like, well, they clearly made the right choice. I was raging. I was like, why am I here on my own? Where is everyone? I thought I had to be here.
No,
and then I went to bed.
no.
I went to bed.
Well done for giving it a try.
I mean, I walked in and went, fuck this. And basically they stamped my hand and I'm like, what is it, 1983? What is happening?
Nothing's
I'm back
changed.
out. I was like trying to scrub it out. Why can't I get this off? It's like my mum's going to find out I've been to a club. No, it's not for me. But
It's the sofa
again,
all the
there
way.
were people in there that were loving it. I didn't get it, but I love that you love it.
We're all different. and we
Find
need to
something that
embrace
you
that.
love
Find your
and go
thing.
for it.
And go forth and go forth. Well, look, I've loved talking to you.
Thank
and I
you
think
for
you're
having
brilliant,
me.
and I love what you're doing, and I think it's so impressive with your whole business model and what you're putting out on socials. It's just brilliant. So
Well, thank you very
Caroline.
much. Thank you for having me. What an
Thank you
honour.
for being on.